Hey, how's it going? Welcome to my video. I'm doing a devlog on my incremental and clicker sort of game. I've been working on this for quite a while being about 6 hours. So what I've been doing is mainly playing around with the UI systems in Unity. I've just been trying to figure out how it all works. And I've had sort of a bit of a shit show with these materials in the shop button that brings up a panel, and I'll get into that in a moment. More or less, I'll just show you quickly what the game's about. It's set on the theme of a forge, and here you can see the heat goes down. What I'm basically going to do is have an animation set up or something in the background that shows you that you're pulling out a chunk of metal from a furnace and you're going to bash it, and as it's out of the furnace the heat goes down obviously. And hold on a second, I'll wait for this refill. I've disabled the use key while the heat hits 0, so you have to refill or not refill but recharge or reheat, that's a better word, there we go, reheat our little chunk of metal so we can bash it over and over again in the incremental clicking type deal. And every time you finish forging a chunk of metal into, like, let's say a knife or a horseshoe, a sword even, you get points. And that's more or less the gist of any incremental game, so to speak. And obviously once you complete that, you are going to get points or some sort of currency that allows you to upgrade things incrementally, as they say. And right now I have implemented a materials panel. So let's say you start off on, I don't know, something ridiculous like paper, like you're forging paper, and then by the end of it you're forging something ridiculous like diamond, which is, quite frankly, both of them are impossible. You would want to you would want to be forging with iron or steel. So anything that isn't that is pretty ridiculous, especially when you get into elements like paper and diamond. Like, it's total fantasy. I wouldn't recommend doing it. And obviously the other menu button and panel button I have is the shop. So this will allow you to, say, upgrade your furnace or upgrade your stamina furnace so the heat doesn't subtract as fast, or some heating method or something like that. And with the stamina, it's obvious, it'll bring back the stamina a lot less. And right now I have it set up on the controller, so hit this button and buy an item or something from the shop, and it'll upgrade the stamina multiplier to, say, 50. And as you can see now, it regenerates a lot quicker. And do the exact same thing with the heat multiplier. It just reheats a lot faster. And upgraded furnaces, obviously, and have that to a very challenging amount. I think it would complete the game very nicely, and it's actually something that I think could work really well, especially if I polish it up. Now, speaking of polishing, the code is very, very messy, and I'll get to that in a second. And here is the object controller, which is going to be controlling absolutely everything on screen. So as we can see, all these UI elements are being controlled by the controller. So we have our player stamina and the actual point system as well. So player stamina, forge, heat, and the UI. This will end up probably being reorganized to make it a lot more accessible and a lot more easier. But anyway, let's go into the code. It is quite messy, and as I've noted up the top here, it should be optimized and renamed to another script when it's complete. So here's all the headers and those options in the side there. I've got a few private things like the heat, and that's just the score. I'll probably end up changing the stamina. Actually, no, the stamina is private. Anyway, so here is our starting function, and just, it's more or less just initializing the buttons and the panels. The panels, when initialized, are set to false. So as you can see here, they're just in the editor, but when we run it, it goes to false and it disappears. Or more accurately, it's not active. But when we do make it active, by using these buttons, it calls the function. So open shop panel on click, and there it is, and disables the other material, other item shoppy type buttons. So you have to exit this. I'll probably end up changing this around, putting this button up here. It's just right now in the let's see, the shop panel. It has a mask, so if we tried to move this button up into this corner here, it would be cut off by the mask. And I forgot to mention it also scrolls as well, which is neat. Actually, I think I did mention that. Anyway, I'm probably going to change these functions around into a switch statement or something like that, just because a switch statement is a lot cleaner, and you can easily do 4 different cases with buttons here. And as well, something I also wanted to do is if I was to click anywhere outside of this GUI element right here, it would disappear. However, I can't do that just for one reason, and that is when I tried to do it, I clicked on the materials button, the materials menu would pop up. And then if you clicked on the button again while it was disabled, it would say, oh, that's off screen or off of the panel, and it would disappear. But as you do that, it would also reopen it, so it would just reopen it even though it was disabled, which is something that I couldn't do. So I just went around with this option here of putting a whole heap of functions in, but it works, and I might just have to leave it. Something that I hope to add as well is, instead of just them the menus just appearing, they animate in a very smooth like manner. Moving on, I have the point system. Here is the stamina. So if the stamina is greater than 0, then it subtracts. Very clever. And I believe I had a function up here. This was on the use button. Our stamina goes down by 24 points. It's put into this function in here as amount, and then stamina is removed by amount, and it also does that to our bar. So very cool, very cool. And I've also disabled the use of the button, so you can't lose stamina while it's reheating, which I think is kind of neat. It stops people from, finishing the knife or the forge or whatever while it's heating up. And just have a simple update function right here, and that is I believe this is the reheating function, or if statement, sorry. This one here is the stamina recharging every frame. So as you can see, the stamina recharges just naturally, and I wanted that to be a thing. Error, that's Unity fucking up. And down the bottom here is the regen heat function. So when, let's see, where is it? It should be in the update. If heat is, if heat is off, I'll probably end up changing that. Just say if heat is 0, because I just have a boolean at the moment that is heat off. It's set to true, so when it's on, obviously it doesn't recharge, but when it's set to off, this other if statement catches that and then launches a function. I'll probably end up I could just change that right to here, but yeah, we have heat off, just to make sure, and then heat plus delta time times the heat multiplier, and we can change that multiplier in the shop. And I'll demonstrate that just by going to, actually I already demonstrated this, what am I talking about? Come on. And you see it just reheats faster, and just have that as a better furnace or something like that. And obviously it makes it interactable at that time. So that's more or less it. I hope to be doing more videos on this. I probably won't do devlogs that much, just because they're not very instructive and intuitive videos. They're more of an update video. But that's what I've been working on for probably the last day. I'd say 6 hours or so all up. Not a full day, definitely not. This is very basic stuff, but that's more or less what I've been doing. I'll get around to cleaning up this UI and probably implementing some actual game looking things, and I'll redo all the buttons and stuff like that. That's on the list. The thing that I want to do next though is the score system, and that's more or less it. I'll give you an update when I'm done, and well, not when I'm done, but when I'm on the way to doing more of this. So I will see you later. I hope to get more videos up, and specifically tutorial videos on some HTML coding, some websites, maybe some Unity tutorials, but there is a heap of Unity tutorials, and I'm not the best at Unity or C#. In fact, I've only been doing this for a couple of weeks now, so I'll have to slide into that more and learn a bit more about it before I can teach. But anyway, I hope that you've enjoyed this video. If you liked it, give a like. I'll see you later.